Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Nitro Racing League here on the channel. NASCAR Heat 5 coming at you today along with what F1 earlier in the day. Today we have some playoff racing at Martinsville Speedway, the middle race of the round of 8. We come into this leading the playoff standings. We're in the Final Four by 17 points currently, but we're coming to a track where in the past I've absolutely dominated at. So my hopes were tonight we were going to win. Last time though, when we came to this track in the last season of the Nitro Racing League, that was my worst ever Martinsville race. I nearly went a lap down and I was way off the pace. So we scrapped everything we took from that one and came into this one with a fresh mindset and was just hoping for the best. And I used preset number 2 instead of preset number 4 for tonight's race in Martinsville. We qualified pole, so we already got an extra point, which puts us 18 points now above the cut line to start this race here in Martinsville. But like I said, the goal is to just make it easy and win this race. For you guys wondering how long the race is 250 laps. Stage 1 is 60 laps, stage 2 is 60 laps, and then the final stage is 130 laps here around Martinsville. So definitely a long, grueling night ahead here. Now I was on lap 6. I was under pressure from Connor, who actually gave me the bumper through turns 1 and 2. I was still getting up to speed here with Martinsville, and you could definitely tell, and actually Connor would be able to pass me through turns 3 and 4. Immediately I wanted to just make it known I wasn't going to get pushed around tonight, so I actually got in behind him and made sure I at least give him a bump there into turns 1, but he would settle out for the time being, at least in the lead. I was under attack from the 41, but I would hold him off for now as we came through a little bit later on a lap 18. Connor, I had kept the pressure on him, and then out of turn 2 he actually decides he's going to let me go down the back straightaway, so I would take the lead back over here into turns 3, but then like just moments after he had let me go, we had a crash behind us somewhere, and that would end up bringing out the first caution of the day. So that was very unfortunate. We got going for a restart after pitting. No adjustments on the first pit stop. I knew what adjustments I had wanted to make, and it wasn't going to happen here because I knew we were going to have a pretty short run to the end of this first and opening stage. But going into stage 2, definitely was thinking about what I wanted to do to this car, and that was to tighten it up a little bit, because on the short run it drives really good, but on the long run, of course, it gets looser and looser and looser as that run carries on. So you really got to, of course, work around that now as we came through turns 1 out of turn 2, getting clear for the lead. And after that point, we drive away. We start checking out. We're in front of the 41 here, who was up in second at this point. We were already closing in on the final points of the stage, but then a caution came out again. So we came into the pit lane. The 41 stayed out. The 20 of Jonathan only took 2 tires, so we lined up third place for a restart with 9 laps to go here in this first and opening stage. The 41 and the 20 very close into turns 1. The 41 kind of overshot turns 1 just a little bit. I'm up the inside now of Jonathan as we go down this back straightaway, and as we go down towards turn 3, the 41 overshoots turn 3 big time, leaves the door wide open for myself to come through up the inside, and he actually loses the car on the exit of the corner, hits the wall, and I would be clear now for the lead. Andrew kind of overshot turns 1 a little bit there, but he was able to keep his car under control. But that was it. We come through to the very end of stage 1, and we would be able to win stage 1. So maximum points so far here. We got the pole. We won stage 1, 6 points on the night, which is the absolute maximum we could have at this point now, as we would get ready to start stage 2 actually from the 3rd position, just with how the pit strategy had it worked out and whatnot. We were up the inside of the 88 and already clear of him, as he was just about 3 wide behind us as we came through to turn 2. So myself and Connor, we get away as we come through to lap 77. We had a big gap over the field now. Third place of Andrew was trying to hold off the now 19 car of Matt O'Brien there in 4th place, and then we come through to lap 79. Again, Connor under pressure from myself. I would be right on his back bumper as we went down into turn 3 as I'm trying to make a move up the inside, take the lead away. Car felt really good, especially with the adjustments that I made at the end of stage 2, which was just putting up the left front tire pressures a little bit and then putting the wedge up like 2 or 3 clicks or something like that. So now up the inside as we come through out of turn 2, trying my best to complete that pass. Now Connor fighting hard, rightfully so. Of course, he's trying to get himself into the final 4. He came into this race 15 points below the cut line, I believe it was, or maybe even more now as we came through out of turns 4. We cleared him right there though, down into turns 1. There was a car crash though in turn 3. Caution came out. We got back going for another restart after pitting for 4 tires as well as 2 cans of fuel, and we got through here pretty clean out of turn 2, and we were already trying to just go lights out and get away from this pack now with only less than 40 laps to go in the second stage here now, as Andrew Wisdom up in second place for the time being on said restart. But we once again, like I said, would pull away. We come through to lap 100, now working our way through some lap traffic. The 3 there of Master Killer, and then the 88 actually, I believe, lagged out as I saw him disappear on the pit lane. But now we come straight through to the final lap of this second stage, right behind Cameron in the 12. I decided to let him stay in the lead lap. Now I just kind of rode behind him for the final 5 laps, because you can see the gap we have over second place of Andrew, as we're almost a whole straightaway ahead as we go into turns 3 and 4 for the final time here in stage 2. Out of turns 4, we get the pole, we sweep stage 1 and 2, crossing the line there to pick up that stage 2 victory. So back into the pit lane for 4 tires as well as 2 cans of fuel, and I made a couple little bit of adjustments again with the wedge and whatnot now under caution. Some weird things going on here with the 3 cars. He was having a massive lag spike, and he was all over the place here. I was trying to stay out of the way. Next thing you know, he's in front of me after he was just behind me a second ago. I'm just trying to stay out of the way at this point. There he goes, zooming by on the outside. I did not know what was going on at this point, but he would actually end up like lagging out after that had happened. I don't think any of us were surprised by that here now. So we got back going for the start of this third and final stage, just below 100 laps to go here from Martinsville Speedway. I really wanted to win this race, of course, now, because it would, of course, lock us into the Final Four. I believe the Final Four race is at Homestead Miami Speedway, if I'm not mistaken, this season. That I'm not sure how that's going to go, because I've got a bit of a bad record at Martinsville, or sorry, not Martinsville, but at Homestead Miami Speedway. But now, if we win this race as well, we go into Talladega in the Final Four elimination race and not have to worry about getting potentially eliminated. Now to lap 144, we were way out in front, but then there was another crash. Caution came out. We pitted again, we took fuel, we got back going for yet another restart here. The 14 of Mahu, aka Matt, behind us. Jonathan on my outside got clear of them out of turn 2, and once again we try to drive away. Now one thing changed though, as we came through lap 158 a little bit later in the run. We had opened up a gap, but not nearly as much of a gap as we had been pulling earlier in this race. So the 14 of Mahu had quite a bit of pace in this car, or in his car, so I was definitely keeping an eye on him. Now as we came through to lap 177, there was another crash out of turn 2. The 10 of Chaffee, the 24 of Venomous Cobra, they had wrecked. Caution had once again come out here from Martinsville now as we come through to closing in on 40 laps to go, as the 24 side swipes me there as it comes through by on the inside. But we got back going yet for another restart in control here on the inside line as we go down into turns 1. A little bit of a bump there from the 14, doesn't do anything though, and we once again get clear, just like we have pretty much every restart on the exit of turns 2 over Jonathan. And once again the goal is to just drive away now. 39 laps to go from Martinsville Speedway. Of course, I'm hoping that it stays green. We want a long green flag run to the end of this race. I didn't want to see any more cautions now. Less than 40 to go, closing in on 30 laps to go here. And the 14 of Mahu had been able to stick with me. He was putting on some pressure, and I expected that. I felt like after 15 to 20 laps, it would be really where our car kind of picked up the pace and we would be able to open up a nice comfortable gap over the 14 car. But we come through now to a little bit later on lap 194. Mahu still with us, and we were closing in on the back of the 24 Venomous Cobra as he was getting ready to be put a lap down, of course, by myself here leading the way. So I was a little bit concerned approaching him, and sure enough, you're going to see how it goes down here on lap 195. We had a nice gap now on Mahu, but it's not going to help here into turn 3. The 24 actually cuts down on us. I said I'm not taking it. I just kind of rough him up a little bit there and push through him, but he's going to cross us over and continue this fight here as we go down into turns 1, and that's going to bring Mahu into the battle now. He sailed it off into turn 1. He did not mean to get into the back of me now as we get clear of him though on the exit of turn 2. I said I am not waiting around and dealing with this, so into turn 3 right here I just decided to give the bump to the 24. Obviously not on my screen, but I knew it did it on his screen. You don't actually have to hit them on your screen to move them out of the way now. So get clear into turns 1, then we actually get hit again into turns 1 there, but this time some more contact on the left side. We were 3 wide for a moment now as we get clear though down the back straightaway. Not sure why that was happening right there, but fortunately myself and Mahu get back out in front here and clear in P1 and P2. But now we would open up a nice gap. Lap 210 already, coming to 10 laps to go, and we were comfortably in front of that number 14 of Mahu, just hoping that it stays green. 40 laps to go now. The race ends on lap 250. For some reason, a few minutes ago, I was thinking it ended at 221, but no, sorry, it's 250 that it ends. So we still have another 30 laps in this race to go, actually, and we just continue opening up the gap. Now, there was a single car accident with the 41 on lap 223, no caution because it was a single car accident, so thank goodness. I was really scared that was going to turn into something, but it didn't. So we keep the green flag out on the track and just try to open up that gap as much as humanly possible here. Now, as we come through to 20 laps to go, we had run down Cameron in the number 12 car. He's trying to make it into the final four. Matt Chaffee just in front of him as well, trying to make it into the final four. Now, as I honestly didn't want to lap these guys, but I knew I couldn't ride behind them for 20 laps and still win the race, so I just kind of had to go for it and make these passes. So we passed the 12 of Cameron, then of course we would get to the number 10 here of Matt Chaffee within another couple of laps or so, and we would be able to put him a lap down, as well as he just stays out of the way through turns 3 and out of turns 4, lets us go, and we now put him a lap down and just try and make it as fast as we can around this track and hope for no cautions at this point. Now we cut straight through to 10 laps to go, and we're comfortably enough ahead at this point where if it stays green, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna win this race. Now, as we were closing in on the back of our teammate of Jonathan, who's already won his way into the final four after a win last week. Now, as we look to the outside of him, he lets us go on lap 244. We get clear of him, and now closing in towards the final lap of this race. Qualified pole, P1 in stage 1, P2, or sorry, it's P1 in stage 2, and now we take the white flag and we're about to win in Martinsville and punch our ticket into the final four race at Homestead Miami Speedway. Maximum points, I don't know if I've ever done that before, qualified pole and won every stage, but we come down this back straightaway into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. The 24 has had an incident there as we're going to go through on the inside, and we will come through to win here in Martinsville Speedway, lock ourselves into the final four in Homestead Miami Speedway. We'll check out the playoff grid here before we end this episode to give you guys an idea of who's where going into the elimination race at Talladega. It's going to be wild. I was happy to win because now we can focus on helping our teammate of Matt O'Brien try and get into the final four. So Andrew Wisdom is the first guy in on points. He's 21 points above the cut line. Mahu is 7 points above the cut line. Matt O'Brien 7 points below. Connor is 15 below, so we're trying to help both Connor and Matt get in. Obviously, it's very, very unlikely both of them get in. And then Cameron as well, 20 below. Matt Chaffee, 21 below. So we're going to try our best to help our teammates in Talladega. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. If you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time of your day to watch this episode, and now we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.